Okay, everyone. I have so many amazing guests that I interview, and Mary Whitman Ortiz, my friend, is no exception. I brought her on here just to let everyone know I don't interview just anyone who wants to be interviewed on my podcast. On my podcast, I only interview people that I am genuinely interested in talking to. And so, Mary Whitman Ortiz is a certified relationship coach, marriage coach, and Christian sex educator. She helps married couples and marriage minded singles to create healthy connection and godly intimacy in marriage. She also trains um, ministry leaders and mental health professionals to facilitate sexual healing and wholeness, and God brought healing to sexual wounds from her past. So she knows firsthand the joy of his restoration. That's beautiful. As a master's level educator, speaker, and author, she has spent more than 10 years working with couples around the world in the faith community to help them understand healthy intimacy and heal from wounds. Through workshops, church retreats, small groups, private coaching, television guest appearances, online platform interviews, leadership training programs, and authored books, she has shared God's original design for sexual intimacy in marriage. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us today.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I've been looking forward to it.
Awesome. So my audience is actually mostly Christians and Jews, because I first started my channel teaching Hebrew and Torah. I'm Jewish myself. I know your background has a lot to do with your Christian faith, but do you also help people who are not Christian? Is
Oh,
that
of course, of
okay?
course. I just let people know where I'm coming from so that it's not a problem once we're talking.
Yeah. And I love that Jews and Christians, they share Judeo-Christian values, which
Mhm.
are from the Bible. But I brought her here today because I wanted to talk to her about something taboo that I don't even want to talk to my friends about, but I can talk to her about it publicly on Facebook because that's what entrepreneurs do, I guess.
Mhm.
So I brought her on because basically I recently wrote a short ebook on women's health issues, and one of it talks about menopause and also menstrual issues, UTI, and varicose veins, four specific issues. But I don't cover sex after marriage because so not after marriage. I don't cover sex after menopause because I really don't know much about that.
Mm.
So, Mary, what do you want to share with us?
Oh boy, you kind of opened the door on that one. Well, the first thing I always tell women and couples about this is that they have to see a health practitioner, that to know what they are going to do physically to help manage some of the symptoms. I don't have that expertise, so I defer. I do partner with a lot of menopause support groups, and so I'm able to direct that way specifically. But I mean, hormone replacement therapy, oh my goodness, there is just so much to consider there. What types of hormones, or you're not going to do it at all? What are some more natural ways to address symptoms? I mean, that's just a huge issue. And I love to offer support, knowing that this is difficult, but I cannot offer expertise with my first point there.
Yes, when it comes to the medical issues,
Yes.
anything related that way. Okay,
Yes. Now,
got
I have
that aside.
two more points that I love to help with and feel completely qualified to do this. So, the second one would be about having open dialogue with your partner. And this, I just saw your eyes get really big. So, if couples were what's the word, glossing over issues in their marriage up to this point, they're gonna put the brakes on, because this is something that can't be glossed over. It can't be denied. And so many women experience physical pain during sex, in addition to all kinds of other symptoms. So I tell my clients, don't put yourself in the situation where you're experiencing pain and their spouse, their husband, their partner might be clueless, because it might be a very similar experience that he's always had. His side of the sexual
They
intimacy
they
might
can't
be
tell
the
your
same.
dryer. Yeah.
No, they
Which is, I
really,
think, a little bit strange. I mean,
yeah.
maybe a little bit they can tell, but not really.
Well, right. Yeah. I mean, that just is such a personal issue. Like, was the couple already accustomed to using lubricant?
Mm,
And some of the early symptoms and stages they might have compensated for by, like, oh, I just think I need a little more lube. But then they realize there's more to it than that. But and it does help when a couple will talk to a professional together. Not that he doesn't want to believe his wife, but because it is so out of his realm, having that additional voice there that validates her experience also lets him know she's not making this up. I know she says she has a headache, but this time it's real. This time she really doesn't feel good. I mean, it just levels the playing field so that she feels heard, and that he feels like his issues have gotten a sound answer and not one that is based on emotion.
okay. Okay.
And that dialogue, oh no, you're already quiet. You're not asking questions.
Okay, my first question is, so it is possible to orgasm after menopause?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
All right.
And there are positives, which, when women are going through brain fog and bloating and low libido and all of these things, they're like, there's positives. Well, if you have been on birth control for decades, now you don't have to be on birth control. And it
Mhm.
can be liberating to think, oh, that's one less thing to worry about or have to address. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not a huge plus, but it is something.
Yeah, because a lot of women don't do well on the pill because it causes hormonal changes which can make them more irritable or causes headaches, causes sometimes they cause cancer. I mean, there's all
Oh
kinds of
yeah,
different side effects that the birth control pills cause. And so and then with condoms, some people are allergic to latex,
exactly.
um or women. I know there's a lot of different issues. There's different issues with everything, and then not doing anything at all, you're gonna have a million children like me. I have 7 children. So um
Woohoo!
yeah, there's that. And I think also something that you said was very true and interesting, which is that it points out that I think men don't understand because it's so different for men, right? Like
Mm,
it almost only feels pleasurable. Pain with intercourse is a lot more rare with men, but with women it's actually it can be very common.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
I don't think men can fathom, and sometimes they don't believe that
Right.
she is in pain. Like, what do you mean in pain? Because God didn't make men to easily experience pain during intercourse. Why would he make women to
Right.
easily experience? Like, why are we so different?
Mm,
Hey.
hmm.
But that's just how it is. Men have to be more delicate and gentle. And
Yeah.
for women, it's super easy to please the man. Um, you know, and but then it can also hurt us. And so sometimes a lot of women, they just hold it in and grin and bear it
Right.
because they want to please their man, and it seems easy enough,
Hmm.
but sometimes they don't see what they're doing to themselves inside, what they're doing to their bodies inside when they do that, because pain is a gift.
Mm,
Pain is a gift from God too, and it's our body telling us that it needs something,
right.
lubrication, maybe a better diet, whatever it is.
Hmm. Yes, and when we ignore the pain, it has a physical and an emotional element. Even if it's subconscious, that then the women create their own walls and their own distance because they don't want to be in that situation again. It's a self-protect mode. And some of that is logical. Yes, we don't want to be physically hurt by someone that we love, but we are doing them and ourselves a disservice if we don't talk about it. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about it, then you are able to join together and face this as an outside issue and not a his fault or her fault situation. And there are so many tips and ways to address it. I've talked with couples before that never used lubrication, and so they needed to explore what different types. I mean, it can be fun because you're trying new things. For couples to consider different positions just physically, there can be a lot of relief from discomfort. Just where is the weight affecting the woman's body. So there are lots of options. It is just a situation where you are almost forced to make a change.
Mm,
And that's something that most people resist.
mm-hmm. Yeah. How much of a problem do you think in our world today, in our society today, pornography fits in with couples having issues with sex after menopause?
That would be interesting. I truthfully can't speak to numbers with that. In a general way, it is understood that pornography is seen as an easy fix, as an easy avenue for release. And so, if that is happening, if menopause is causing distance for the couple, I mean, I could follow that progression. That might be why either one of them would turn to pornography and self-stimulation, so that they are having some kind of release that is less what's less personal. I mean, I'm totally against pornography, so I'm not trying to create a positive scenario for it, but I can
You're trying to
understand.
understand why
Yes,
some couples, I- either one or both, may turn to that, right?
yes,
Yeah, I
exactly.
I see that point. I see what you're saying, but I also feel like overall, allowing pornography into the marriage will will distance you
Yes.
because you'll stop trying to connect with each other. And
Hmm.
also it sets unrealistic expectations for both,
Yes.
for both parties.
And
Um,
unfortunately, pornography now is more geared towards violent acts, and the victim, typically the woman in the pornography, is shown with a face of pleasure. So she's not reacting in fear and in pain. The
mm,
image on her face shows that she's enjoying it. So it's
mhm.
completely false. And for someone to go into their own relationship and think they can duplicate that, that is unrealistic. That is so harmful. It's just introducing more dishonesty. So it only makes things worse. If people thought it was going to be a temporary fix, what it has caused is greater problems than they had before.
Yeah. I like to use the analogy of like junk food, sometimes we eat junk food, and I notice that if we eat too much junk food, then my children lose their taste for healthy food. And so
Yeah.
what we have to do is, in order for, and usually that's, when we're traveling, it's hard to cook, prepare your own healthy food. And so that's when we resort to that because it's just quicker and easier. But then you have to get back to the healthy food, you have to
Mm.
fast and, and deny yourself of that junk food so that you can appreciate what's good and healthy. And I think that's a good analogy when it comes to, pornography or really any kind of fornication, is that
Mm-hmm.
it's like junk sex, you know.
Yeah.
And the only way
Yeah.
you're gonna have healthy, um you know spiritually building instead of spiritually destructive
Mm.
sex with your marriage partner is if you fast from the destructive type of sex.
It's just floods our media to think of it as being so acceptable. And I from my work, the younger the person, the more readily they think it's typical and normal and should not be questioned. And it hurts my heart to see that happening in the world right now. But thankfully, there are more voices coming forward too to describe what is healthy intimacy and how much better it is. Talking about food and comparison, it's like a Wagyu beef compared to a McDonald's burger. You have to develop your appreciation for it. But oh my goodness, the benefits of healthy intimacy are just far reaching. Sure, there is that momentary physical pleasure, but the emotional bonding that happens and the way it boosts your self-esteem. I know it encourages security within the family. So then even the children benefit from a stronger unity between their mother and their father. And as individuals, you're more productive in your work, in your community. So there's just so many benefits to healthy intimacy that it's always worth it to make that be a consistent pattern in your marriage.
Yes, yes. And I think it's very easy to say, but I think it's one of those things where unless you experienced it, you don't understand how much those words that you just said, how true they really are.
Hmm.
I kind of liken it to like the Grand Canyon. Like I always saw pictures of the Grand Canyon. I was like, oh, that's nice, that's pretty. But when I actually visited the Grand Canyon, I was like in awe. And I was
Yes.
like, this is something that everyone needs to see at least once in their lives. A picture will not do it justice. And so
Mm.
you say these words, but I just want everyone to know and understand that we can't we can't do the justice of how amazing physically, mentally, and spiritually a marriage can be when
Yes.
you honor that marriage bed with your body and with your eyes, which are the window to your soul.
Mm.
So yeah, okay, so what would you say are the top three issues that women have regarding sex after menopause?
Dealing with the pain, actual pain that happens during intercourse, dealing with I'll just call it an extra layer of emotion to be able to process for themselves what they're going through. There's disappointment, there's grieving, there's a loss of what they were once able to do, not just childbearing, but to their experience. Um, and and then in their relationship of you're thinking, finally, we're at a place where life is settling down. Then, oh no, I've got this other new issue. A lot of women say it's not fair, and they feel very isolated. There are still women who are uninformed, and it catches them by surprise, and they haven't. I know I had a client, and she said, I don't even talk to my sister about this. So she and in addition to that, she wasn't seeking professional help until things got really severe. So the isolation is huge for them.
Okay, so what services do you offer to help women through this time?
A lot of support and create a safe space for them to have the conversations, guidance for how to have the conversations with their spouse, referrals of any resources that I have, because it's interesting. Some people will want to listen to one podcast or want to read a certain book. I think we need a variety of resources to help us. And then your body is still going through a process, so you don't know which resource you need at which time along the journey. So I just love to meet them where they are. I have personally gone through menopause. I'm very blessed that I did not have extreme symptoms. I will say that I was already exercising and watching what I was eating, and I think that is a huge part. Your diet really affects how it's all going to play out in your body.
Right. So can I ask you, because I do nutrition coaching, what have you found, since you brought it up,
Mhm.
what have you found, what kind of diet or what kind of foods do you think support you through menopause best?
Whole foods. So minimizing the sugar and all the white foods you have to minimize, white flour. My husband, he was telling someone the other day, well, Mary doesn't even buy bread. I'm like, you sound like you're so deprived, but I made the decision, that's gosh, 5, 8 years ago, that it was important enough to me to streamline dairy. So I'm doing lots of vegetables and fruit and quality proteins, meats, fish. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Do you know the story of Dr. Weston A. Price?
No.
So he was actually a dentist, but he was a holistic medical doctor. And he's passed away already, but he has a book, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. I believe that's what it's called.
Okay.
But the reason why he's famous is because he traveled all around the world. And there's another man who also did this, Albert Schweitzer, and he was also a doctor.
Mm,
He was also a missionary, he was a pastor. But anyways, both of them traveled all around the world, and they studied and worked with indigenous tribes, native people all around the world, different continents and countries.
mm,
And what they saw, well, according to Dr. Weston A. Price's words, was that they saw that they had excellent dental health, first of all, because he was a dentist, even though they didn't brush their teeth, but they had excellent dental health, no cavities or plaque or anything like that. And they didn't suffer from the chronic diseases that we have in the Western world, like cancer,
mm,
diabetes, heart disease, all that. They didn't have that. It was absent. And when in the Western world, at the ages that we would be hitting menopause and we're no longer able to give birth, that the women were still giving birth, that they didn't so they were still giving birth to much later age than we were, and their men were still, instead of retiring, they were still out there hunting and
yes.
being extremely physical, and their diet consisted primarily of meat that they hunted
Mm,
and fished, and a little bit of vegetation and berries and whatnot that they
mhm,
foraged, and a little bit of honey, hardly any sugar,
mm,
little to no grains at all whatsoever, mostly
right.
just meat and vegetables and
Mhm.
fruit, but not a lot of sweets at all. And that also, that when they started adopting Western life and the Western, modernized diet, that they would start getting
Oh,
everything that we get.
yeah,
So
yeah.
So I love telling that story. So so those are the biggest challenges, right? I'm wondering what are like the top 3 tips that you would give
Mhm.
to women who are going through menopause?
Hmm.
Besides, I mean, I know you said, to see a healthcare
Right,
provider.
right. And I think it would I would start with encouraging them to validate their emotions, because there is the isolation, there is the grieving, the loss, the disappointment. And our society is just this pull yourself up by your bootstraps, just get going and ignore it. And this is not the time to ignore it. If you are ever going to give space to what's going on in your thoughts and your emotions, this is an important time to do that. Find other safe people that you can have conversations with, because when you get those emotions out, then instantly you're not carrying them alone. You feel lighter. You could have fresh perspective. Someone else shares their experience, and instantly you have another idea. So that's of great value. And keep learning, because there is new research, new products to help, and you can get relief from your symptoms sooner if you are proactive.
That's great. And I think having a coach is a really nice alternative because yeah, I'm not comfortable with just talking to a friend and my mom, I actually would feel comfortable talking to my mom, but yeah, I think she's a woman of of few words. So
Mm,
I don't think she'd have very many things to say to me. So and a coach is I often, I prefer coaches to therapists because there's that stigma, there's nothing
sure.
wrong with me. I just want support.
Right.
And that's really what
Exactly.
a coach is for. It's not to address sickness or illness or anything like that. A coach is there um, to be there for you in every way that you need and to refer you resources when that you don't know about. But your
And
coach,
sometimes to challenge you when you have become complacent.
yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting women
Mm,
in the way that you do. I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you. And I know a lot of people they want to talk to someone about this as well. And
yes.
so it's good that that people like you are there. And actually there's not a lot of people like you who do exactly this. So that's really great. And so I wanted to also show people your book. Let me see. Let me pull that out. You have two books, not
Mhm.
specifically focusing on menopause per se, but sex in general, right?
Yes. Yes.
And the way I found them is I just went to Amazon and just I Googled or I searched up Mary Whitman Ortiz and then sex. And then she's got two of them, right?
Yes.
One of them, why can't I talk to him about sex? So this is going to be helpful for to get women and teach them how to open up to a meaningful dialogue with their partner, right? And then
Exactly.
you have the companion, which is good
Hmm.
because there's a different angle for both. Why can't I talk to her about sex? And it looks like there's a Kindle version available for both of them. Do you, excuse me, by any chance have any plans to do an Audible version at all?
I've thought about that. What I've done instead was courses,
Okay.
because that's really more interactive and personalized. I mean, I love the books because it's an entry level, and I have a whole survey there of questions to help you figure out why. Why can't I? What were your personal blocks? What were those messages growing up in childhood that were negative about sex that you have to overcome? And then
Mm,
there's even a template of a letter you could write your spouse to share some of the things you've learned. But as much as I still value the work that I've done with the books, I do know that if you have the same mindset when you're reading it, there's a chance that you're going to apply it the exact same way. And you may need a fresh perspective, which is the benefit of coaching,
mm,
so that you're not repeating the same patterns, just with new content. So that's I have not done an Audible for that reason.
Okay, I get it. And so if someone wanted to speak with you or work with you, should they go to your website? Would that be the best place to go?
Yes, absolutely. I have a free consultation. I'm happy to have a brief conversation and find out, would it be a good fit? Are the issues that you're experiencing something that I can help you?
Okay, awesome. And so I'm guessing that's you and your husband right there, right?
It is. That's my James
Okay.
Bond right there.
I love the color of your dress. It's like a
Thank
mermaid
you.
color right there. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for oh, and so you do women's coaching and also couples together coaching. That's great. That's
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
All right. Have you another question I have is in your experience, can this issue sometimes be a cause of divorce in the menopause years for women?
Well, there's this new trend called gray divorce. And I know women, it's usually the woman who's initiating because she's feeling more confident and more like she wants to enjoy life maybe in ways that she's missed out. I don't know if they have drawn all the parallels to menopause. I will say this, I'm in a menopause support Facebook group. I think it has 150,000. It's an enormous Facebook group. And a lot of the women will comment there of, I'm so glad I'm not married and I don't even have to deal with all the sex issues. So there's a mix there.
Okay, yeah, that's sad. Well, regardless of whether it threatens your marriage or not, it's still a very important issue to address, because this is a major change in a woman's life, but also in a couple's life.
Yes, that's the best way to put it.
And every major challenge in life, I believe, it can either draw you closer together or bring you further apart, depending on how you approach it, really.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, do you have any closing words for us before we end our talk today?
I do. And it comes to the idea of valuing yourself. And I always encourage people to see themselves with eyes of love because I know that God sees us that way. And his love is endless. My business name is Limitless Intimacy, and I just believe that God is limitless. So whenever we need a fresh dose of love to see ourselves with more grace, then that is it's great to go back to God for that because when you're feeling it, then you're able to walk in that with everyone else in your life.
Thank you. That's beautiful. And that's a great closing thought. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and with my friends, Mary.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Okay, shalom.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Algar and I am the host of Expertise TV, and I'm very excited to be introducing you to our guest today, Mayim Vega. Now, Mayim Vega is a former NASA computer scientist turned holistic healer after facing a very personal health crisis, which the modern medical system could not resolve. In 2009, she founded Arukah.com, which offers an holistic healer certification program focusing on 3 pillars: naturopathic herbalism, holistic life coaching, and online business and marketing to empower people to become holistic healers and achieve maximum impact in the world. Mayim combines her scientific background, natural healing methods, and faith in the creator and great physician to guide others on a path to personal and professional well-being. Mayim, it's clear that you are very passionate about the topic of holistic health and particularly helping people who are wanting to transition into this approach. How did you find yourself in this line of work, and why is this work so important to you?
Thank you, Ashley, for taking the time to speak with me. And I'd love to answer that question. So, the way I found myself in this line of work starts with my story of when I transitioned from becoming a computer scientist at the NASA Ames Research Center to becoming an entrepreneur and building my first online business in digital marketing. And the reason why I did that is so that I could stay at home and be with my newly born son at the time. And now I have 7 children of my own, and I always wanted to homeschool them and just be there for them. And so that's why I became an entrepreneur. But my first few years as an entrepreneur was extremely difficult. And I thought it was healthy, but later on, after all my studies, I realized there were a lot of things that I was doing that was not very healthy. They were not very healthy habits that I had. And what ended up happening was I got really sick and I thought I was on my deathbed. And I was rushed to the emergency room. And the doctor actually thought that I had a brain tumor. But after extensive testing and examination, she told me that there was nothing wrong with me. I just, I was experiencing a lot of pain, but they had nothing for me. There was nothing they could do for me. She said that she could give me some really strong painkillers, but that's really it. She couldn't really get rid of the problem. And so I took the painkillers, but again, painkillers and any pharmaceutical drug never address the root cause of illness and disease. And that's exactly why this line of work is so important to me and why I went on my own personal journey to become a holistic healer, to study nutrition, herbalism, holistic health, and holistic life coaching, is because we all know people, and maybe probably even ourselves, who, just like me, went to the modern medical system because that's the expected thing to do. That's a normal thing to do. And, tried to get health and healing that way, but hit a dead end, hit a brick wall, and we either got medications that didn't work or that only worked for a while, or that caused side effects that were so terrible that we had to get on other medications, plural, and maybe even the medication or medications caused side effects that caused other health issues. And sometimes the health issues are worse than the first problem that you originally had. And we're on this ridiculous roller coaster of drug after treatment after procedure, because the modern medical system never addresses the root cause. And medical professionals who have woken up know this. And that's why I have medical professionals in my program, including, doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, medical technicians, etc., who are learning from me, who are, taking the certification program because they realize that our system is broken and we need to fix it. It is our destiny as humanity to overcome all this nonsense, really. We can do better and we will do better. I know it. And that's why, in my certification program, sometimes I joke around. No, it's not really a joke, but I say, I'm empowering not just holistic healers, but holistic warriors. We're in a battle. We're in a battle over our own health and healing to safeguard and protect that, and that of our families and friends and community, of course, as well. And we're also in a battle against very powerful people who, because of profits, like to suppress holistic health and healing truths to keep us just sick enough so that we need something, pharmaceuticals, but not well enough to ever get off them. That is truly the goal of big pharma, of the pharmaceutical industry. It's not true. They don't want to heal us. They don't want to cure us. They want to keep us just sick enough so that we keep giving them our money. And you know what? Me personally, I have better things to spend with my money, like on good food, clean herbs, things that don't cause these ridiculous side effects that we experience with pharmaceutical drugs.
Thank you, Mayim. So that brings me to my next question. What are some of the key benefits of transitioning from the conventional healing approach to a holistic approach in health and healing?
Okay, so that's another really great and important question. The key benefits of transitioning from conventional healing to a holistic approach are, right now, I can think of three main reasons. Number one, the holistic approach is safer. Number two, the holistic approach is more effective. And number three, the holistic approach is the true approach that gets to the root cause. Okay. Now, I'd like to illustrate the first point, the safety of holistic medicine. If someone who was taking some, let's say blood pressure medication or something like that, visited me at my house, let's say I invited them over for dinner, and let's say they had to take some of their medicine and they dropped one of their pills, right, in my dining room or in my living room floor. Now, I have very small children. I have a 4-year-old. And what if my 4-year-old found that pill on the floor and thought it was candy or something like that and put it in her mouth and ate it? What would happen? I would immediately have to call the poison control center to get that pill out of her system, because those pills can have deadly side effects. But what if someone dropped a vitamin C pill or a tincture, and one of my children found it? For the most part, if they found it and took it, they might have a little diarrhea. It might be really spicy on their tongue, and so they would stop taking it. But no, I wouldn't have to control the poison control center, because vitamins and herbs and minerals are extremely, like 1,000 times safer than pharmaceutical drugs. There's a few types of, supplements that you might have to call the poison control center, but for the most part, no, you won't have to do that, because our body knows how to work with those substances. It is not a drug. It is a healing tool. Okay. So completely safe. Also, exercise, diet, those are all safe, right? Sleep, those are all part of holistic health and healing. Completely safe, zero side effects. Now, let's talk about the effectiveness. The holistic approach is more effective. And the reason why we know this is because in my practice, and this is the experience of many holistic healers, when it comes to the conventional ways with the pharmaceutical drugs, as I said before, they don't deal with the root cause. They just mask symptoms. So, you might take a cough suppressant, let's say, for example, but if you are not dealing with the root cause, why are you coughing in the first place? Why do you have allergies? Why do you have the flu, etc.? Why is your immune system not strong enough to overcome this in just a few hours or just a day or two, overnight? Why? Because you have not built up your immune system. You haven't boosted it or lived the kind of life that you need to in order to avoid those common illnesses altogether. I have one of my students is a medical doctor, and she said that she used to take anti-allergy drugs every single week because of her allergies. The allergy drugs don't boost your immune system. They just suppress it. They just oppress your allergy symptoms. But when you have allergy symptoms, it's your body talking to you and telling you, hey, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this thing that you're eating or this environment that you've just stepped into because of my state of being. I'm not strong enough. That's what your immune system is saying to you. But I taught her a really powerful vitamin protocol that actually boosts your immune system so that your immune system is strong enough to overcome allergies And so that's the difference. It is effective because it is true. It is true holistic health and healing because it strengthens your immune system. It doesn't silence it, like I said before. And the third issue is the root cause. Holistic health and healing deals with the root cause, and the conventional approach of drugs and surgery, etc., does not. That doesn't mean that you sometimes don't need surgery, for example, or in an emergency situation need a drug, but you're not dealing with the root cause. And if you deal with the root cause, you can make your problems either go away or become extremely minimal, safely, effectively, and naturally without poisoning your body and causing the roller coaster of side effects.
Mayim, you have developed an incredible program that you've already mentioned called the Arukah Holistic Healer Certification Program, which you have specifically created for those looking to either transition into the holistic approach or for those who are wanting to grow in their knowledge and practice. Can you talk us through what differentiates this program from other similar programs that are currently out there?
Thank you, Ashley. Yes, the certification program at arukah.com is really, truly incredible. And there's a few things that set it apart, actually, many things, but I'd like to focus on a few. And one of them is that when I designed the program, I designed it for someone who was in my situation many years ago, someone who was a busy mom who had a lot of work to do and, a lot of things on her plate, but still wanted to empower herself with the knowledge of holistic health and healing for herself, for her family, so she could take care of her family, and maybe even build a career where, very specifically, she could stay at home and, just like me, be a stay-at-home mom. And, even a homeschool mom. I've been a homeschool mom. My oldest is 20 now, and I homeschooled him the whole way. And he's already graduated college, and he's got a computer science degree, and he's an entrepreneur himself. I instilled that dream in him. So being able to, I was able to surpass my income at NASA, and still homeschool my children. It's pretty awesome achievement. And so I wanted to empower people in my program to do exactly the same as I've done, to become a holistic healer, to have a successful online business so that they can have time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom, meaning that there's no glass ceiling. No one who you need to get a raise from. You just have to help people. That's how I get paid, is when I help people, right? And so that's one of the advantages. Another advantage is it's very hands-on and apprenticeship based. And you could go to a college to study to become a naturopathic doctor, or another holistic professional like a chiropractor. But it's going to take a lot more money, and a lot more time as well. This program can be completed in 1 year, but because, all of my students pretty much are busy professionals already, or busy moms, it's self-paced. So, if you have a lot of things on your plate, it's okay. It's still going to be there for you. There's not like a time limit. You're not going to, your grade's not going to be lowered because you submit an assignment late or anything like that. It's self-paced. And so I've designed it for the busy mom, or the working woman. And another thing that sets it apart is we have three core pillars in our program. One is that our students study naturopathic herbalism. And that takes up the bulk of our program. And naturopathic herbalism includes studying the foundations of holistic health and healing, identifying toxins and detoxification, also nutrition and orthomolecular nutrition, or megadose vitamin therapy, as well as herbalism, which includes also homeopathy and aromatherapy with essential oils, And also they study Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine. But it's mostly focused on Western medicine, Western herbalism, excuse me. And then the next core pillar, the second one, is holistic life coaching. And the reason why holistic life coaching is part of the program is to incorporate the mind spirit aspect of it, right? If herbs and supplements are the alternative to pharmaceutical drugs, well, holistic life coaching is like the holistic alternative to psychiatry. It deals with the mind and the spirit, and spirit has to be part of it because we are spiritual beings. We're not just physical beings, we're also spiritual beings. Now, a lot of holistic health and healing schools are based on different religions, New Age, or other pagan religions. And this program, because I'm Jewish, is based on the Creator. It's based on the Bible and biblical principles, Judeo-Christian principles. And so, therefore, I have a lot of people who are of that faith persuasion. Jews, Christians, or people who maybe they don't really identify as Jewish or Christian, but they're open to it, or they grew up in that faith, and they don't necessarily want all the new age spirituality. They want the kind of spirituality that they are comfortable with and used to. That's another thing that sets us apart. And life coaching is all about mindset and how to have healthy relationships with yourself, with others. Of course, also, with food and your body and lifestyle. Holistic life coaching encompasses all of that. And it's a very important part of holistic health and healing, especially because stress is often the root cause of many illnesses, common illnesses, and also chronic diseases. So, that mind and spirit aspect is very important. And the third aspect is online business marketing. And again, the reason why that's important is because, as I told you, I really want my students to thrive and to be able to, have that time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom, which an online business provides. But also because, there's not a lot of jobs for herbalists, or life coaches even. And so we really have to be entrepreneurial. And it's very, very rewarding. And because of my background, with my digital marketing business, my first business, I can really help people in that department.
Thanks so much, Mayim. So I love the power of testimony and hearing people's personal experiences or journeys. Can you share some of the success stories that might be coming to mind or testimonials from past students?
Yes, we certainly have a lot of success stories and testimonials, and we'll show some of those testimonials at the end of our talk today in this video. But I could talk about a few of them that are maybe recent. One of them is one of my students. She told me that she wanted to become a nutritionist, but I guess her life's journey didn't really allow for that. So when she heard about my program, my certification program, when it first launched, she joined, and she really wanted to help her husband, who had been suffering from colitis under the care of doctors for about 20 years, ever since he was in the military. And he was going from medication to medication and, suffering with diarrhea and insomnia and restless legs and indigestion and, all these terrible things that colitis can cause. And so I actually created a custom module for her to help her husband with that. And in 2 months, she helped her husband get off the medication and heal from colitis using food and herbs and natural holistic healing methods. So that was a great accomplishment for her. And, I get people, contacting me saying that I helped them grow their hair back, or actually someone said, oh, you helped you helped save you helped save a little girl's life, just beautiful, wonderful things like that. You helped me heal my daughter, you helped me grow, um regrow my teeth so I don't have pain from cavities anymore, like just all these wonderful testimonies. And that's the reason why I love doing what I do. And and you will too, if you join the program. It's so rewarding and fulfilling to understand and to know that you are helping people, truly helping people in ways that they can't get in the modern medical system. It's so rewarding.
Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mayim. I can only imagine the sense of reward when people start applying these principles to their lives and actually see a change and transformation. And for somebody as passionate as you are around this topic, to witness that and to be a part of that, I imagine that the reward is priceless. Another common question that arises is, once someone completes the program, what are some of the practical steps one would take in order to start a successful career in holistic health?
Okay, that's a great question. And that's actually what the third pillar of our program is all about is, what do you do? Practical steps and what you would do to start a successful career in holistic health. And in that program, we teach our students how to create a high ticket transformational health coaching program that really helps people deal with a serious a problem, a serious health issue. And that doesn't mean that it's a deadly, problem, but it can be something that really affects their life, right? Even skin disorders can really affect your life, right? Even though it's not necessarily deadly. Weight loss could be something that is dealing with a serious issue. There's so many different types of health coaching programs that one can make, anxiety, depression, hormonal issues, etc. So they build, it's part of the program. They will do this while they're still in the program, and we'll support them the whole way, is to build that first high ticket health coaching program, and then set up their online assets, such as their website, their social media, a video sales letter, press releases, podcasts, all those things that online entrepreneurs need in order to connect with people, get their message of health and healing out there, and build and grow and scale their business.
Thank you so much, Mayim. It's been so great talking with you today. But before we close, for those that would like to get started on the journey to becoming an holistic healer and wanting to learn a little bit more about the certification program, how do they go about contacting you?
Yes, it's been wonderful talking to you today as well. And for all those who would like to get started on their journey to become a holistic healer and learn more about the certification program, all they need to do is visit the website, www.arukah.com, ARUKAH.com, and dig into that and schedule a discovery call. And I would love to be your mentor, your health coach, your teacher in guiding you to become a holistic healer, to become the healer of your home and your family and your community, and to help you build a profitable online health coaching business.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Mayim. So there we have it, folks. If you are ready to move forward in your own journey of becoming a holistic healer, then you can visit the website at www.arukah.com, where you can schedule your first discovery call. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.